Hello, everyone, and as always, welcome back to Strategy Gaming Dojo, where we find, learn, and play one more turn of the great strategy games. Today, we're continuing on with Field of Glory Empires, and we are in 298 BC. This is turn number 13. Things are progressing pretty well. We are the Arverni, and we are currently at war with the Adui. Now let's go check out that war really quickly and see how close we are to being able to absorb them into our nation. So we click the diplomacy screen, go down to the Adui. Now we see here they show this war. They're also at war with some of these other tribes, I guess is what they are out here. But let's see if they'll come to a peace with us. So we have a war score of 26. These are used, think of them almost like a currency. You can take, uh, various regions. You can try to take provinces, or you can try to absorb the entire nation, which is what I want to do. You could also get paid off by metal, money, I guess, what else do we have? Seed regions. You can do all of these things, and they're all worth certain amounts of points. But we want the whole nation. So let's say absorb nation. The war score needed for that is 41. Okay. And so, we do not have enough to do this. And it will tell you, uh, a breakdown of why that is. If we did want to do it, we would hit here proposed treaty. But we're not there yet. Final peace chance would be 9%. There it is. That's where it goes through and tells you all of the breakdown that gets you to the final peace chance of 9%. Now, once we get our war score up higher, this should go, well above 50%, and then we can propose that and absorb the entire nation. Now, why is that important? Well, it is important because we are now also at war with the Aquatani, and the Aquatani sit here kind of to our west, and I guess a little bit to our south. Um, and you never want to be in a two-front war, right? And that is true now, and it was true definitely in 298 BC. But we have a very powerful army. We have a good general, and if we can take, you know, the Adui's land, we can kind of consolidate all that, go try to take the Aquatani land, and then it will be time to really try to build out our empire, or our burgeoning empire for culture, money. We need to start producing all those things. Now, early in the game here, as a Celtic Gallic tribe, you are going to have to focus on warfare for about the first 20 turns, just to survive. And then if you can get past that point, we can really start trying to build out what our prospective empire will eventually look like. Now, if we go over here to the east a little bit, you see Rome is on the march, and that is always dangerous. It looks like they're about to take over the Etruscan territory. The boys up here, right around the bend of the Adriatic, looks like they can, get that fairly soon. Now, luckily, we have the Celtici here, or the Celtici maybe, or Celtici, um, right up here to the north, kind of acting as maybe a little bit of a buffer. But once we take Dewey and Aquatani, we get into the sights of Rome. Now, hopefully, we might get a little too big too quick for them. Just as a Roman player, I'm looking, and who knows what the AI is going to do. But if you were playing against a human, they may look at all of this purple once we fill it in and say, you know what, why don't we go over here and try to take Dalmatia, Illyria, and move east instead of moving west first. They also have a little logistical difficulty in that, these are all mountainous regions. They would have to kind of go along the coast here and then springboard an attack against us from, let's say, Massalia. And so they may not be inclined to do that. We also have Carthage that's moving out here in the Mediterranean and also has gotten a foothold here in the southern part of the Iberian Peninsula. They're always someone to look out for. Um, one nice thing is if Rome does turn to the east, We can maybe focus on Carthage first and then turn back to Rome, but by then maybe we have all of Iberia too and become very, very difficult to beat at that point. So let's jump in here, and I think last time we had left it, we had already looked at all of our little tokens out here that tell us certain things that happened last turn. You can see here the Aquatani tried to raid this region. They tried to raid this region. And then I think up here it was the Galli tried to raid this region. Those are not acts of war. They essentially just put a crimp into your production. It's not something we've used yet. Um, and there's no real reason for that. It just hasn't come up or has been something we wanted to do. But we've been fending off raids from neighboring countries that, again, it's a weapon you can use to set back their development. Now, some of these areas I didn't want to do it because we were going to take those areas over. You don't want the raid penalties in a region because they last for 4 or 5 turns and are actually quite substantial penalties. So anyway, let's look at our regions. What do we have going on here? We're growing hemp, or we will be once we get somebody into the infrastructure section here. Right now we're running a -1 infrastructure, which is eating into the kind of bank of infrastructure that we had built up, but that's okay. These people just need to feed themselves right now. If we do click on this, we would get a -4 to a +4. Now, right now, we're going to get a new pop in 13 turns. Now, that's based on food. We only have clean water here. We really need to get some food building production. Let's actually think about moving this guy down. Now we would get no growth at all because food goes negative. We would get a hemp field in 5 turns, and we've got 6 food in the bank. I think we'll do that because uh, we will not starve, right? In 5 turns, we'll be down to 1 food in our storage here, even though we're losing one every turn. Um, but by moving him down here, we'll get a hemp field, which will give us 3 food and get us going positive again. Um, I think we should do that and start trying to build up some of these regions, even though they're under pacification and they're under, this one was rate or this one's occupied right now and under pacification. Now we are going to shuffle here. We didn't like our choices. All of these were going to take way too long and not really get us where we needed to go. We're moving our one army here just to kind of try to block any Dewey advance to try to break our occupation here. It's a little force. It's one infantry unit is going to be moving here. Now, what's going on in this region? We're building a farm. We do have a +2 per turn food. We have a nice little infrastructure +6. We'll get that farm built in 4, and that farm will provide 5 food. Yeah, we got the farm up there. Okay, I just want to make sure. Um, Now, what's interesting is we could switch here to hemp and get 5 food very quickly. Um, we're just going to leave that the same. It's fine. That may have been the better play, but let's just leave that the same. We're producing flax here. We're trying to get a little food. As you see, as we move around here early on, we're just trying to feed ourselves, get some infrastructure built up to build even more food units or buildings here so that we can feed ourselves through buildings and we can start moving our pops down the chain to get more money and to get more culture, which is very important. Now here we're building cattle pens. Cattle pens are uh, just for Celtic players, and they are very powerful because they give you infrastructure and food. One of the few buildings that do that, and they can really, really help you start to build up a region. This region, we've got an orchard going, okay. Here at our home capital, we're building a gambling ring because we thought our loyalty was getting a little low. This will give us a loyalty bonus of 6 and a taxation bonus of 10%. That's nice to have in your home capital. It will increase our this will increase our decadence, and we'll have to watch that. Right now, our decadence is still okay. Once it gets above, around 4 or 5, this starts to turn yellow. And then once it gets up to like 7 or 8, it starts to go red. And this is what you have to counteract with culture. And so this does not actually produce any culture. It only produces money, even though it's a purple building, which is generally associated with culture. It gives us other benefits here. So keep that in mind. I think we looked at all of these last time, so let's go ahead and run the turn. We're building a farm there, and here we're just trying to feed ourselves. Okay, let's go ahead and end this turn, and hopefully we will end the Adui. Okay, and now you see Aquatani here is moving into one of our regions. We have nothing here, but you always have kind of a token garrison, I guess. I don't want to call it a garrison because garrison is something specific in this game, but you have a token force. It's the people living there saying, "Wait a minute, the Aquatani are attacking us." Now you can look at their general here. He's better offensively than he is defensively. And so we probably, when we get into a scrap with them, I say he's better. He's a good general, right? He's got bonuses for both. But when we get into a scrap with them, we're probably going to want to be the attacker, so that we only run into that one score there. Okay, we'll skip that. They're probably going to take that. Now we fight the Adui. We go in here. We'll do continuous battle. Now, as you can see, it's a very small frontage here, but luckily we've worn them down so much that they can't even cover that frontage. Our skirmishers, well, goodness. All right, well, this is a little bit closer than I would like, but see, we can flank them here because they cannot even cover the frontage. And that's something you always got to be aware of, is you really need to have enough units to cover the front. Otherwise, the opposing army can quote unquote flank you here, and they just get a free shot at you. So always check the frontage in any region you're going to fight in. Make sure you can cover that. If you are a smaller nation and you're being attacked, try to get the battle in a small frontage area, which this is forest, so this is as small as it gets. It's 6. Forests and mountains are 6. I believe hills are 8 frontage, so just always keep that in mind. We have beaten the Adui. I think that's going to give us a real opportunity here to end this war. Let's hope we can, now that the Aquatani are on the move. We did get an aging token this time. We're now to -3. We're also moving back down the charts here, which is not good. This would make us become an old tribal chiefdom, which gives you certain, as you move up and down this scale of what you can be, or I'm sorry, what you can be, what your empire actually is. As you move up and down, you'll get certain bonuses or certain penalties. Okay, and so you don't want to age as um, as your faction. You want to be progressing, and you do that through building up your culture. Well, we're going backwards right now, but there's not a whole lot we can do about it. Again, if you play one of these small Celtic tribes, that's just how the game's going to be for the first 20 or so turns. Now, if you play one of the bigger powers that's already established, maybe one of the Greek cultures or factions over there, um, they start off with very good culture and low decadence, and you can kind of play the game a little bit differently. But over here, we're at war right from the start. Now, we're still tied for 24th place. We've got 33 legacy points. We're up to +4. We've taken 4 objectives during the game. We're running a +7 on metal. That's good. +26 on manpower. That's fantastic. We can start to build more units because now we're also running a positive on gold, and we'll maybe start thinking about building more units to take on the Aquatani here. All right, so let's accept that, and let's go to the diplomacy screen. Go here to Dewey. We'll look and see what our war score is now, and it's 35. Are we able to absorb the nation? Yes, because now it's 32. Well, I say yes. It's up to a 48% chance, Let's put it that way. Um, Now the question is, is 48% good enough for us here? Do we want to march over here and take the last territory? Let's go ahead and send them that peace proposal. And as we do that, let's bring our army back this direction. Now it would take us two to get here through here. Um, let's come here. This is as far as we can get in one turn anyway. Let's come here, kind of demonstrate against Aquatani a little bit. We're coming back this way. Now they'll probably jump up here. Now the problem is when they take a region of ours like this, they really mess up that region for quite some time. So unfortunately, we're going to have to do some rebuilding. Now, what do we have here? After the battle in Mandubia, Choreo disbanded completely while retreating, so that's the Adui army. Our armies marched into Mandubla and conquered the region from oh, it's Mandubia, sorry, and conquered the region from Adui. It's a great victory. We have gained Mandubi, um, which was the seat of power. Their treasury has been plundered, so we got 13 more gold there. And then it just tells us a battle was fought here. Uh, Aduchi structure proposals were reshuffled and a new one is available, so that's good. Now let's look at this region that we just took. What's happening here? Okay, so they're building a hunter lodge. What does a hunter lodge do? It produces horses. That's great. You want to get some horses in here. Now we were or could have been importing them if we needed, but of course if we import them from another faction, we have to pay for that. The game does that automatically, but you want to be really careful because it can drain your treasury. You may not even really realize it. You may have built a building that needs a certain product and it's only available from the Middle East, let's say, and it costs just an exorbitant amount to import it. So you always have to make sure you know what you're importing. Every building that you build, you want to check what does it need? Do we have it? Do we have it close? Um, are we okay paying for trading with it? And how do you do that? You always go down here to trade details and you can see missing bonus trade goods. Now these are things we could get bonuses from, but they can't really negative impact us. They're only accretive, let's put it that way in accounting terms. But missing trade goods and imported trade goods, these are the things you want to look for because the game will trade for them and you'll start bleeding out gold. Okay, so this Hunter Lodge, I like that idea. It's going to give us, what did I say, a little food. It's going to produce, no, it just gives us equipment. Okay, and so that would give us another +5. Oh, I'm sorry, not infrastructure, equipment. We'll talk more about equipment when we form a province. So when we put a bunch of these regions together and form a province, equipment is shared across the province, okay? It's important for building up your army and getting them with the proper gear, but it's not on a region by region basis. It's one of the few things in this game that's done on the provincial basis. And so we'll look at that when we get there. Let's get rid of some of these. Okay, so we sent that proposal for peace. Let's get off there. Let's get off there. Let's go back to, there we go. Okay, so we shuffled this up here. What do we need to do? Well, let's move slate. Do we want to do that or we want to keep them down here? We wouldn't get a pop for 37 turns, but that's because we're under pacification and occupied. Um, that's why it's showing that way. But I do want to get a building. A building. Okay, now stud. This produces horses as well. Um, Borvo Shrine gives us some health. It also gives us some culture because we get a bonus from nuts and seeds. An armory. Wow, look at all the equipment that an armory gives you. It does need leather, which is going to cost us some money. And as you can see here, it shows money -9. So the game automatically calculates how much it's going to cost to import leather. And it tells you that. -9. That's pretty steep this early in the game. Now, those are nice bonuses, and maybe, whoops, didn't mean to do that. This is the Caravan House, -2 infrastructure, but it gives you 6 money, including a bonus from cattle. Missing bonus from horses, but we're about to get horses, so this is actually a pretty nice one. This gives us a commerce bonus. Maybe we'll build this area up into, kind of a commerce center. And that's how you want to start thinking about things is you want different regions to specialize because these buildings start building bonuses off of each other, right? And so you can see, we've got cattle, we're about to have horses next turn, and you start building these bonuses up. It can be very powerful. So let's go ahead actually and stay with that. And once this comes out of pacification and occupation, we should get a real bump to our food and infrastructure anyway. So I like that one. Let's do that. Okay, we still control this. We're just feeding ourselves and building a farm. Okay, and we really don't have any others. You'll get a token that pops up when your buildings are complete. Averni has received an aging token. Now we saw that when we resolved the turn. We're now at -3 tokens, and the health of our ruler Cratolus has degraded to average. Well, that's not good. Really, that's about all we need to do here. We've sent the proposal to the Adui. Hopefully, it's kind of a 50-50 chance. Well, I guess it's a 48 to 52 chance. We know that for sure. Let's hope they accept it, though, and then we can just focus on the Aquatani. We could potentially build a new unit here. As a matter of fact, why don't we go look? All right, so we clicked on, let's go back. I want to show you the buttons I clicked. So we click here at our capital. Now, it doesn't have to be in the capital. You can build army units anywhere, in any region that you control. But the capital does give it certain bonuses because we've got a barracks here, and so that barracks is going to give units we create more experience. Um, we could build regular infantry, heavy infantry, Ambactus heavy infantry, skirmishers, and light cavalry. Why don't we get a skirmisher going? We'll right click on him. All right. That costs us a little money. And why don't we get another light infantry going? And as you see, they'll both be ready next turn. So that's great. Uh, we just kind of want to keep the Aquatani from marching right in here and taking, or at least laying siege to our capital, because that will really mess with our economy. And with that, I think we're ready for the next turn. Let's see what happens. Now, happily, the Aquatani, it doesn't appear moved this turn. That's very cautious of them. But as you can see, their army built up a little bit from, I think it was like 14. Now its combat value is up to 23. Um, okay, we stayed at 3 aging tokens. We are now back down to, next to last place here in our culture and decadence uh, score. A new decision is available. Building development focus. Regions will reshuffle some of their building proposals with an emphasis on harbors, walls, or workshops. Well, we don't really need those. I mean, we don't, we've only got one place where we could have a harbor, at least right now. Walls would be helpful, but we really need to keep building up our food and really think about that right now in the early game. Now, this can be helpful later on when you want to start developing your society more, but I think we're good. And this is what it tells you. I just want to click on this. Some buildings are just too important or strategic to be left to the discretion of local governors. We will order many regional governors to provide plans and resources to erect such structures. This decision can't be triggered now as some conditions are not met. It will remain in the national panel for some turns, though, before being removed. Okay, put a priority on harbors. This would cost us gold. Uh, put a priority on walls and then defensive structures. That again cost us 350 gold, so we couldn't even do this if we wanted to. Put a priority on workshops, no. and put a specific priority on Emporium if any are available. Emporium is a very strong cultural building, but we don't have enough money to do any of this, even if we wanted to. Um, Now it gives us even another decision. Develop infrastructures, produce more or gain instantly extra infrastructure points. Okay, what can we do here? Have the workers work harder. Using this option, the infrastructure output of all of our regions will increase by 15%, but we will lose 10 loyalty points in each region. These effects last 6 turns, or buy extra construction materials and bring in foreign engineers, but this costs gold. Well, we don't have enough gold to do this, and this, I think, early in the game is risky because as that loyalty creeps down by 50%, you may have a revolt. And you just, early in the game, a revolt sets you back so far that you just can't take that risk. Now, um, the Adui, we had to send a messenger to them, okay, and so they did not give us an answer this turn. We can go up here and look. Where's the war score now? Negative 28 wary. Um, okay, we can't even click on this. I thought that maybe we could pull this up. The war score is at negative 35. Uh, we're seeing that from the Adui perspective. Over here, we can see it from our perspective. We've got a positive 35. And so and then we're losing to the Aquatani right now. They've taken one of our regions. Okay, so we've got this new army here. It's got 2 infantry units and a skirmisher. Let's go merge it. And how do you do that? Just right click on this army and it will go merge targeting Curio. Okay, let's also make sure that this guy, okay, and they do have a general and he is a 1-2, so he's a good defensive general. But let's go merge that group with them because we're going to take this group, move it through our capital here, and two, one, two, one, two, three. Okay, for now, we're going to target their army. So we right click on that. And what else did we have this turn? We got a new building up here. Excuse me. Now that is that Hunter's Lodge that we looked at last time. That gives us a little loyalty bump. Okay, that's great. And now we're producing horses here, which when that goldsmith shop gets built, uh, will give that another bonus. But we can build something new here. What are we going to build? Well, we've got no choice. No commerce construction options are available. Okay. We've got sawmills, and that would produce lumber. We've got hemp, which would give us food. We've got a pleasure house here. I really am not in love with any of these choices. In many cases, they take a long time because of our penalties down here. But I'm really not in love with it. Let's go ahead and shuffle those. And hopefully, oh, we got another token here. That's not good. Presence of pestilence near Arvernia leads to serious epidemics. And then it shows us our 2 decisions that we had there. So what does this mean, this pestilence near Arvernia? Well, there's only one thing that you can do about this. This is like a natural mechanic of the game. It will just happen sometimes. All you can do is try to build up the health, and that's why when we get these things like clean water, and Borvo Shrine or some of the other things that can increase health. It's my understanding is anyway, whether you get a pestilence or something like that is just a dice roll. Every turn you've got a certain small chance of getting that. And the higher your health is, the higher the health that you have. And you see here, epidemics outburst. Um, so the higher your health is, the less of a chance you would have of getting this. And you see here, we get a loyalty penalty, which really stinks in our capital. We're down to 56 loyalty. We get a health penalty of 25%, and we get a manpower penalty of 50%. It lasts 3 turns, but that can really hurt. I mean, we're down to 56 loyalty in our capital. We really need to try to get a slave market I say try to get it. I think we've only had one opportunity to build one, and it was in one of these regions that couldn't even feed itself, and so it didn't really make a lot of sense. But we really need one to start distributing out these slaves. We also need to continue building culture. Uh, I really wish this was a culture producing building, this gambling ring. It is going to help with loyalty though. And then when this goes away in 3 turns, we'll get those 10 loyalty points back. So it's not the end of the world. Let's go ahead and resolve this turn. We should get an answer from a Dewey this turn, I believe, either this turn or next turn, of whether they're willing to let us absorb their nation. All right. Now we are in dead last place for culture and decadence. It's just it's a matter of time. We're in 26th place for legacy, which is the scoreboard. Okay, that's completed. Let's go ahead and click OK. Alrighty, so we still haven't gotten our answer from a Dewey, or have we? Yes, we did. They rejected our offer. Okay, that's fine. That's why we're moving this army up here. We will still outnumber them once we get up here. Let's go to diplomacy. Let's click on them again and see if they're going to rethink this a little bit. War score is still 35. Absorb nation is now 38, and so that number went up, and that's probably why they really rejected our offer. We only had a 48% chance to begin with. It probably went down into the 30s, maybe even into the 20s when that went negative. We're gonna, march up here. We've got a general. As a starting player, always make sure you have a general with your armies, especially as one of these tribes. You have no reason not to. I mean, we've got, myriad number of generals here, and this guy is a 1-1, which gives you a bonus. That's good. And this guy is a 1-2, and again, this is on a scale of 2. So a 2 is very good. Now you can get bonuses above that. My understanding, and thank you for whoever put this in the comments, is you don't actually get an extra dice roll for these bonuses that they can have. So this guy has well, this is a movement penalty, not a good example. Um, but these guys will have bonuses called like he's a flanker, okay, and that gives you a +1 on offense and let's say a +1 on defense. That's not an extra dice roll. That is just added to whatever your highest dice roll is. So thank you for whoever put that in the comments. I do appreciate that. Okay, let's see. Rayeti here tried to raid this province, but it was knocked back, so that's good. We shuffled up here, right? So let's go see if we got any better buildings. Yeah, not really. Not really. I maybe should have taken hemp last time. Let's go ahead and do public works. It's going to take a while as we see it now, 19 turns, but as soon as this goes away, it should happen, fairly quickly. Then we can move this guy back to food and start building up our pops. Well, before we do that, let's actually click on here and see how soon we would get a pop. 8 turns? Okay, I would actually rather do that. So let's just shuffle here. And if we get a good food one that comes up, that's fine. But as is, let's just wait for that pop to build. Nothing here, nothing here. We got to wait here until they get their reinforcements. You see that we built a new building here. The orchard is up and running, so we're +11 for food, and a lot of these penalties from previously are gone. We've got 96 loyalty in this region, although it's starting to get a little decadent. You see it get into the yellow there. Um, all right, so we could build a hunter's lodge here if we wanted to. And you can see what else uh, hunters lodges do. They give us natural archers, so it applies to archers and skirmishers. Now we don't even have the ability to get archers yet. We have to unlock that through a military building. Um, but it does give us a reduction in our manpower costs. That's good. What else do we have here? So we have some good ones. No slot usage. We've got public works here. We've got clear water here. Why don't we do public works? That will give us some infrastructure, and we're doing well for food. We'll get another pop in 4 turns because we're up to plus 11. So that's good. This region is starting to build out nicely. When we get that pop, we'll put him here. That'll probably lessen that down to like 7 or 8. Gosh, it does seem kind of high though. 16 turns, but it does give you 6. We could do clear water. We could build a palisade, which wouldn't be bad because it borders one of, potential enemies here. Let's put it that way. Clean water looks pretty good here too, but okay, we're going to do public works. I'm going to stick with it. What do we have going on here? What does it say? Several signs tell us that the next few months will be particularly hard. We know that this happens every 4 turns. It's kind of like a winter turn, uh, per se. Um, okay, fine. What else is this telling? Oh, the gambling ring's been completed. Excellent. So our loyalty did jump up by 6, and we've got some. It's going to add some decadence. We're going to have to build some buildings that reduce that decadence. It's a little risky to build a building that's going to add your decadence when you already have a lot of decadence from the slavery. Um, all right, so we could do a flax field. We could do an armory. Excellent. This is what we want. It is going to cost us 9 money. Well, let's look here. Crafter district. Now, this is something that is a Celtic building, I believe. I believe crafter districts are Celtic. This gives you a lot of money. And a commerce bonus. This would all come, of course, I mean, our capital here. But gosh, I really want our capital to be where we're building an army. We got a bonus, so our equipment, we get a bonus from iron and a bonus from flax. It would cost us 9 each turn, which is pretty steep, but you know what? Let's go ahead and do it. That's a really, really nice thing to have in your capital. This now gives us 3 military buildings. It will start to unlock level 2 buildings for us. Now, we already have some level 2 buildings, but you don't get the choices for those until you've built 3 of the same kind in a region. So just always keep that in mind. Okay, so we're marching down here. We're targeting their army. This is going to be on the plains. Now, the plains have a frontage of 14. How do I know that? Well, let's go down here and you can see it there, plain open. It costs 2 to move through there. It's got 0 terrain defense and its frontage is 14. Okay, we saw that they've got 12 units. Um, we have got 15 units, so we should be able to flank them. It looks like they've also switched out generals, and they did. Castamandus is here. Yeah, he's the guy that's got these crazy bonuses. This guy's an amazing general, and he's also got a defense rating of 2. So that was smart. Very smart by the AI to switch out to this general who's defensive. I mean, obviously we're going to be attacking, but he's their best general, and so they've moved him from wherever else he was operating into this army. I still think we can take them, but that does make things a little more interesting to be sure. What do we have going on here? Still feeding, or trying to feed ourselves. Nothing more here. We got the armory going. What was our culture building here? It would have been our third. Oof. All right. So the monument gives you 10 culture. It does increase your decadence, and I don't really want to increase our decadence, and it has 0 slot usage. Yeah, we're gonna need culture, but let's stay with the armory. Okay, so I think we're good here. Let's go ahead and resolve this turn. This should be a really interesting battle because okay, he got up to 14 units. All right, very nice by the AI there. He got up to 14 units. They must have produced one. This is going to be a really crazy battle. As you see, we fill the front here. Um, let's see what happens. I mean, it's good general against pretty good general. And stalemate. There we have an advantage. Now we do have, that's not good. Oh, shoot. All right, so it's 1-1 right now. Actually, he's ahead 2-1 for units that have died. And that's really how it's determined at the end who pursues who. We really need to win one more here. Oh, thank goodness. All right, I think that's gonna. Oh no, we lost a skirmisher right at the, or we lost these guys right at the end. Oh, that's a killer, literally and figuratively. Okay, they won the battle because, wow. So what was I talking about there? As that battle is resolved, you know, you saw we killed some of their troops through dice rolls. They killed some of ours, back and forth, back and forth. We were tied going to the last unit of how many units had been killed. So they fight each other. They killed our unit by what had to be like 1 point on the dice roll. And so then whoever's killed the most units, they get to quote unquote pursue and kind of get a free shot at you at the end. It's supposed to replicate, you're retreating back and they're kind of, you've got a rear guard action and they're kind of, sniping at you. Um, wow. Okay, well, we're gonna have to bring these other units down here now. Um, we got another aging token. So it looks like we're going to be the first society to actually degrade, but we'll get to that when it happens. Legacy, we're still getting +4 every turn. All right, so what happened up here? As you can see, the Raitai were also fighting the Adui, so they really should have taken our offer. But when the Raitai took the last Adui region, we automatically took the rest of a Dewey. A Dewey no longer exists. It's gone. So we now have this region, and that also frees up these units here. Let's read this really quickly. Farm has been completed. Looks like we also, yeah, Raeti has conquered Alabrosia, which was the seat of power of Adui. And yeah, no doubt it's a hard blow. They're gone. Are they gone permanently? Not necessarily. If the loyalty drops low enough in one of the Adui regions, they can rebel, and an Adui army will pop up, which is kind of cool, I think. It's a cool mechanic of this game. Okay, let's go look and see what we can build. Right, this is the one where we're still trying to get a pop, but let's see what's available and see if we want to move down to infrastructure. It would be hemp, which is not terrible. It doesn't take that long. It's 6 turns. Why don't we go ahead and pick that, and we'll build hemp. Now it's going to take, what, 10 turns for a new pop, but we'll be building up the region. Okay, so that looks good. Okay, we're good there. This is where we're building the goldsmith. We're going to try to turn this into a commerce center if we can. So that's good. Now this region here was building a farm when we got there. And so we've now, we've got this. It's part of our empire, or burgeoning empire here. And so it's built a farm and it's looking really good with food. To the point, I think we can move the slave down here and we'll still be growing in 5 turns. And we've got 11 infrastructure points now. So let's see what else we can build here. We could build a tavern. Look at all that money that gives us. And it also gives us a loyalty bonus. That's a very nice way to start, maybe. Opponent Shrine gives you equipment. Stonecutters, Smokehouse. Oh, food. Um, Interesting. I really like the tavern, but we get a bonus here, and that's so nice to get that food bonus from nuts and seeds. So we're going to build the orchard. Uh, that's fine. Now let's go down here. Again, the flax field has been completed in Helvia, so now we're getting +6 food, and you'll notice up here, I believe. Yeah, let's go here. Yeah, this is still under pacification. This is not. Okay, so a lot of the pacification stuff has gone away. So we're +6 food here, plus infrastructure. Let's see what we can build, what we want to build. We could build a palisade here. It is, kind of right on the edge of our territory. Kind of scooting back, seeing what the Romans are up to. I like the Rieti building up because they're right on the border of Rome as well, and they can cause them problems. I don't really like any of these buildings for right now. Let's shuffle. Let's go. Let's look for something else next time. What did we get here? Arverni has received an aging token. We knew that. That's too bad. Um, yeah, Icurio has been pushed back by a marching enemy army. This is one curio. I say I curio. It's one curio. Um, it's been pushed back. Yeah. Okay. Well, we can move this army back over here and have it merge into this army, and then we'll have to decide which general we think is better. We also might as well keep building more units. We got a +76 this turn. That's because we won over a Dewey, and we got a lot of these integrated into our empire. We also got +40 for manpower. So this is a good turn to build units, that's for sure. Now, Aquatani, these are plains regions. Heavy infantry does well there. So why don't we try to build, the Ambactus is better. Why don't we try to build one of those? Now, see, it's going to take 3 turns. That's not ideal. Light cavalry. Let's build another skirmisher. Let's build. Okay, that'll be 4 turns now. So let's click off that for a second. Regular infantry, next turn. Okay, let's just build this up really fast because I don't want to get outflanked. Okay, so that's 3 turns. So then once we get there, let's go ahead and build. Oh, shoot, 6 turns. Yeah, we just can't afford that right now. We don't have the time for that. So we're gonna have to do regular infantry. Um, well, that's good for now. We've got them in the queue. All right, what happened here? There's a new pop in Santonia. Excellent. So it's +6 food for now, and we'll get another one in 7 turns. Now it's back to 42 turns. Oh no. But we move this guy down to infrastructure. Let's build something that makes food. Eh, I always hate missing Celtic craftsmen. Oh, we also have the chance to do a fishery, which produces fish, of course. Let's do that one. Let's do that one. That's great. So that's going to produce uh, food. Well, an orchard would be 10. Shit. Um, I didn't see that. Yeah, we're getting that bonus. Fishery only produces 5. It does produce a new trade good. We'll eventually get fishery. We got to do orchard. That just produces too much food to pass up. I think that's it for this turn. Let's go ahead and resolve this, and then we'll look and see what happens, and then we'll call this an episode. And when I come back next time, we will have to try to fend off the Aquatani. Now you can see they're also fighting Massalia, so that's going to help us. Okay, we jumped up the culture ratings a little bit. That's because we, kind of integrated, I think, the Adui in. We've got 4 aging tokens, so we're right on the, you get 5, and that's when you start moving what your empire is called. So, not great. Let's go ahead and click off here. Oh gosh. Okay, so the Galli has now declared war on us. Hey, again, this is what happens early on here in Gaul. You've just, it's coming from all sides. Okay, well, fine. The Galli, the Parisii are actually a client state of the Galli. All right, they're at war with Veneti. Okay, well, that helps us a little bit, although it looks like Veneti has really been hurt. They're down to just 2 regions. Okay, well, it is what it is. Client state Parisii is also going to help them, of course. Okay, well, we're at war. Merchants and patricians change our recruitment policy. This is where we will start the next episode. This will allow us to get a lot more manpower, but hurt our economy essentially. You turn merchants and patricians, into people that go into your manpower. But our manpower is looking pretty good. So's our gold, which is really going to help because we've got to raise armies here very quickly. Okay, so that was a lot of fun. I love this game. I think it's a great one. Hopefully you're enjoying this and you're learning something. If you do have the game, or if you don't have the game, hey, pick it up. It's very well done. Anyway, Strategy Gaming Dojo. Thank you so much. I'll talk to you next time.